You are going live.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I know it's been a while since we've had a meeting. I have a lot of changes to share with you, so I just sort of bulleted them so that I think will be a little bit easier for you. Excuse me. We will be sending out copies of the actual policy today or tomorrow. So as you all know, as of July 16th, excuse me. Yes. So as of July 16th, our surveillance testing and access to BRHD has changed. So essential caregivers and anyone entering the home who are fully immunized will be screened, but they do not have to have an antigen test unless they wish to do so. And so I want to give you the definition of what fully immunized involves. So if you've received your full series of COVID vaccines or a combination of COVID vaccines approved by Health Canada, 2 doses of vaccine series, 1 dose of a single of one series and 1 dose of another, and you have received your final dose and you've been at least 14 days, you are considered fully vaccinated. If you've only received 1 dose and are waiting your 2nd dose, you must be antigen tested twice a week on 2 non-consecutive days. If you have not been vaccinated, you must be antigen tested twice weekly on 2 non-consecutive days. If you're fully vaccinated, as per the definition that I read out loud, you will only need to wear a mask, no gown. If you are not fully vaccinated, you will be required to wear a gown. And I'm not sure, I forget about the face shields, but I think maybe face shield. And in order for us to track immunization of all individuals entering the home, you will be required to show proof of the immunization. If you do not show proof, you will need to be antigen tested, and you will be required to wear a gown. For essential caregivers, we're just asking that you email proof of your immunization so we don't have to keep asking you each time you come in. If you could send that to Jen Pilon, and I noticed in my memo to you last time I gave you that I didn't have Jen's email address correct. It's jpilon@bobrumble.org. Excuse me. The number of caregivers is not limited, so it can be more than 2. You can only have 2 coming in at one time, but there's no limit to the number of essential caregivers. It's important that the essential caregivers complete the caregiver form for the home. Excuse me. This gives us a record of the persons who are essential caregivers or identified residents. Excuse me, I have something caught in my throat and it's getting worse. There, maybe better? Oh yeah, I have water. Thank you. Okay. General visitors are now permitted to visit the resident, unless the resident is self-isolating and symptomatic or living in a part of the home that was in outbreak. All general visitors need to schedule their visits with the home prior to coming in. Essential caregivers no longer need to book an appointment. However, our screeners and antigen testers are here from 6 to 4 p.m. only, 6 a.m. If you are planning to come after these hours, please understand that the nursing staff are busy with their med passes, which is 7:30, 11:30 a.m., 4:30 p.m., and 8:30 p.m. Sorry, repeating the times. The med passes are 7:30 a.m., 11:30 a.m., 4:30 p.m., and 8:30 p.m. If you are not fully immunized and you require a test, it is recommended that you will need to avoid meal times and in the evening during med passes. During these times, if you need a test, you will need to wait until the trained staff are available to provide a test. Thank you for your cooperation as we give staffing priority to the resident needs at these very busy times. We would encourage you to contact us if you do plan to come in after 4:30 p.m. so that we can be more prepared. There's changes in physical distancing. Physical distancing means a minimum of 2 meters or 6 feet. And this must be practiced at all times by every individual who comes into BRCD, with the following exceptions. For the purposes of direct care, for residents to have a brief physical contact with their essential caregiver and general visitor, the hug. Between fully immunized caregivers and/or fully immunized general visitors and fully immunized residents, you can now sit close together, you can hold hands if you're all immunized. The physical distancing does not come into play when you're looking at palliative care and also for the provision of care such as hair cutting. I'm going to talk about indoor visits by general visitors. We can have a maximum of 2 general visitors and 2 caregivers. And they may be inside visiting the resident. That's excluding children under 2. General visitors are not permitted to visit the resident if the resident is self-isolating or is ill. General visitors who have not shown proof they are fully immunized must maintain the physical distance of 2 meters from the resident at all times. However, a brief hug is permitted, regardless of the immunization status. Where both the resident and the visitor are fully immunized, close physical contact, including hand-holding, is permitted. All visitors must wear a medical mask. Depending on the immunization of the individual, they may be required to wear a gown as well as a mask. Indoor visits may be scheduled, and this is for general visitors, Monday to Sunday, 9:45 a.m., 11 a.m., 1:15 p.m., 2:30 p.m., and 3:45 p.m., and Wednesday evenings from 6:15 p.m. A location for the indoor visits. For pre-scheduled indoor visits, general visitors may visit the resident in the residence room or in the dining room activity area if the resident's finished eating. Some restrictions may be required to support health and safety during visits. For example, monitoring the flow of visitors to ensure sufficient physical distancing can be maintained, supporting residents during the visit, and also to note that the visitors and essential caregivers are not to use the lobby area. We are able to accommodate one group of 4 people per wing at a time, 2 essential caregivers and 2 general visitors. Outdoor visits. Outside visits may be scheduled, again, same time, Monday to Sunday, the times we've been doing it all along. You can have up to 10 people at a time, which includes both caregivers and general visitors. And this is going to be based on the scheduling with the home. The scheduled visits take place in the center courtyard of BRHD and is able to accommodate 2 groups of 10 visitors in the courtyard at a time, because we can safely physical distance them in the courtyard. General visitors not shown proof that they are fully immunized must maintain the physical distancing from the residents at all times. And just to note, if the outdoor visit is canceled due to inclement weather, the outdoor visit does not automatically become an indoor visit. For scheduled indoor visits by general visitors, please refer to our policy. So at no time could we have the 10 people that are outside coming inside. So if your visit for outside is canceled, call and make a scheduled visit for indoors if you're a general visitor. Other changes. So we continue to cohort residents while they're inside the building, which means the residents on Care Center 1 and the residents on Care Center 2. However, the residents are allowed to mingle for activities that are outdoors. Residents are now allowed to go out on the bus. Again, we will keep the residents in their cohorts when we do that. Caregivers who pass the screening are allowed to accompany their loved one to activities and to meals. Personal care services are now allowed. We are desperately looking for a hairdresser, so if anybody has any contacts, please let Jen Pilon know, as we haven't been able to find a hairdresser as of yet. And we also just remind you that you visit your loved one only and not the other residents of the home. Just want to talk about resident surveillance. We are now conducting an assessment of all residents, including their temperature check daily versus twice daily. So in the past, we were doing it twice a day. Now we've been instructed to do it once a day. We continue to leave 2 rooms open for isolation purposes. I'm going to talk a bit about absences. There are 4 types of absences. Medical, where you're an outpatient and you're going to the emerge department and you're coming right back. You do not require, or the resident, excuse me, the resident does not require testing or self-isolation upon return. All other medical leaves with an overnight stay, when they return, they will be required to be tested and they will be required to be isolated. A second type of absence is compassionate or palliative absences. The third is a short-term absence, which is less than 24 hours. Regardless of their immunization status, they can leave the home for essential and social purposes. So you can come and take them out, whether or not you've been immunized or they have. I would just caution you to be really careful not to put our residents at risk. The fourth type of absence is temporary absence. This is an overnight type of absence, up to 48 hours for casual leave, and then it's longer if you're looking at like vacation. So the overnight upon return will require a PCR test and will need to be isolated until the results are obtained. So not a antigen test, but an actual PCR test would need to be done if somebody stayed away overnight. So our immunization stats, just for your information, staff-wise, 77% of all our staff have been fully immunized. That's 73 out of 95. 16.8% are waiting for their second dose. That's 16 out of 95. And 6 people, 5 who have refused the vaccine and 1 who cannot take it for medical reasons, is 6.2%. With residents, 59 of our residents have both doses. 2 of our residents have received their first dose and are waiting for their second dose. And 1 resident has not had any doses. And these stats fluctuate from week to week with new residents being admitted and with new staff coming on and staff leaving. So, but we're looking pretty good, I think. Update on staffing. We have 2 nursing students that will start as PSWs. We have 1 PSW starting the end of August. And Chris is checking references for 3 other PSWs. We're hoping to have enough PSWs lined up for the fall when the nursing students go back to school. We had 1 RN quit and another RN go on medical leave. So we are desperate for RNs if you know of anybody. So that's really what I wanted to share with you today. If there are any questions, and I know that when you come to the door, if you have questions, the screeners will help you because it's a lot of do's and don'ts and a lot of changes. And I guess that's it, unless there are any questions that anybody has for me specifically. Oh, the other thing I wanted to point out too is activities. The residents are now allowed to sing or be in a sing-song. It says sing and dance, so I didn't know if they were dancing before, but they can dance now. So that's kind of nice that they can do, in their cohorts, they can do activities, more activities, closer together. So. Oh, so while we're waiting, Amy received some packages that were left at the front vestibule. We don't know who they're for because you didn't write on them who they were to go to. So we're going to do a little bit of show and tell. And if you could let us know who this is for. These are Dr. Scholl's Soothing Spa socks, are they? Look like socks. Yeah. Women's. There's 3 pair in there. So they're socks, 3 pair. If you know who they should be going to, please let us know. This is a large lady's very pretty pink t-shirt, but there's no name on to where it is to go. So if you could let us know, that would be great. Thank you. And lastly, this is a sweatshirt, and we're not sure who that's to go to. So if you could let us know, that would be good. Thank you.
So you're caught up.
Okay, so I must have done a really good job of explaining the changes. If you ever have any questions or concerns, someone's asking me what Jen Pilon's email is. Oh, you put it up? Derek has put it up on the chat box. So we're so thankful that we were not involved in the tornado. We did have a couple of staff people that were affected, but they're doing okay. They weren't physically. It was their house that lost their roof, and a trailer was smashed into the front of their house. So we're just thankful that our residents were all safe. We put them in the hallways near the fire doors, away from all the windows, and said prayers, and it was good. Our power went out for 10-15 minutes, and it came back on, and all was good. So, right. So thank you. Please stay safe. Please remember, if you want, I know you're excited to come in and see your families, which is great. We're excited to have you. If you're taking them out, just please remember to keep them safe. Which I'm sure you will. So, and you be safe too. Be safe too.